Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have Jessie. This is a Disney Channel series, I believe so. I don't think it's Disney XD. I think it's Disney Channel because it's 2011. It's a 4-season long series. It started in 2011. It's about 98 episodes or so, and yeah, some of the seasons are like 27 episodes long. That's a lot. But it fits inside the rule of most Disney Channel series get only 4 seasons. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's just like the rule. But I guess you can't have the kids growing up. Like, you can't be like 10 seasons in and it's no longer about a girl from the country coming into the city and babysitting kids when the kids are like college age at that point at the end of the series. It just doesn't make any sense. You're really just scraping the bottom of the barrel to keep that kind of story going. So in this, we have a woman named Jessie. She's she's come to New York City and make her name, fame, fortune, whatever. It's kind of vague as to exactly what she wants, but it doesn't really matter because the moment she gets there, she gets kicked out of a cab right in front of and falls to the sidewalk in front of a rich-looking, like a rich person's apartment, hotel, not a hotel, but there's a bellhop. There's just a random child standing outside, and then there's a screaming nanny that comes running from the building. So guess who gets her job? Because she happens to be in the right place at the right time, and soon she finds that she's not just the nanny for one little girl, but for at least 4 and a Gila monster. Yeah, I think it's a Gila monster. It's a pretty big freaking lizard. That's all I know. Yeah. So it's lots of goofy antics, a laugh track, or I can't imagine was it done in front of a live studio audience? I feel like it's a laugh track. I'm not sure, but she gets to babysit a multicultural collection of adopted children who are looked over not just by a nanny, but like a butler type of guy who is played by. I've seen him in so many other things. Kevin Chamberlain, he plays Bertram. He's kind of checked out. He's seen it all. He's done it all. He's the one constant in the household where he doesn't get fired because he doesn't really put any effort in. He doesn't really care. The kids can do whatever, and he's okay. The nanny, in most cases in the past, have taken responsibility for the kids as a nanny technically would, and they are just driven insane. Why? Well, we get to discover that the kids are the adopted children of 2 famous people, and one is a movie director who knows everybody in the business, from George Lucas to Angelina Jolie, and his wife is kind of like a fashion mogul kind of person who has connections with the same people because of all that. They just name drop throughout. Very first time we meet the parents, the dad pulls out a gift he got from George Lucas, and it's a lightsaber. And he's like, it's just a prop. And then he slices a chair in half with it by accident. So it's a real lightsaber. But there's lots of silly antics in that sense. By the way, Mom and Dad, I've seen them in so many other things. Mom is Christina Moore, and Dad is, come on, Dad, Charles Eston. Yeah, if you see him, you'll recognize him, not just from this show. But Debbie Ryan is Jessie herself. But notably, there's a number of other actors that I recognize. The kids, these are young versions, because they were, this is 2011, young versions, not what you thought I said, of actors you know and love. Peyton List, little blonde right here, she is so tiny here, but you know her from Cobra Kai these days. She's kicking butt on that. Cameron Boyce, he's in The Descendants. Or at least he was. I don't know if he was in the first 3 Descendants films. I'm pretty sure. Karen Brar plays this almost cringy, overly Indian cliche. Just like he has to preface, the comedy comes from him saying, well, in India, we do this. I'm not going to do the accent. In India, this is the way things are. And comedy. And It's not his fault. It's, he doesn't write these things. He's a kid. And then there's Sky Jackson, who plays little Zuri, who's one who ends up giving Jessie the job because she's what, 6? So yeah, it's the easiest. Basically, Jessie fell into the easiest hiring process possible. And what she does is eventually she's completely overwhelmed like every other nanny, but she's tenacious. And even when the kids try to steal the helicopter, it's all done off camera, of course, because they ain't got no budget for no helicopter, especially for any stunt work relating to that helicopter. But yeah, it's some off-screen craziness. Even when things get a little crazy, she's going to show these kids a little bit of discipline. And she also, at the same time, figures out the reason why these kids are so unruly and drive everybody away. It's because they want their parents' attention. Their parents are always busy off jet-setting, traveling the world, working with movie stars and every famous person in the world. Yet they keep adopting children. Because, like, the last kid, Ravi, the kid, the little Indian kid, he was adopted 6 months prior to the start of this episode, and like, why do you keep adopting kids? Oh, it's a great thing, take them out of the system and give them a home. But if you can't be there to give them, be their parents, come on. It's okay. So, and Jessie kind of brings that to light, and she gets fired. So, but no, she does get fired, but it doesn't last. It doesn't take, because obviously you have 4 seasons worth of this story to tell. So yeah, it's a lot of your normal Disney Channel silliness, showing stories, being responsible, and always a lesson to be learned for the kids. The one kid, Cameron Boyce, plays Luke. He is very handsy with this older woman that is now in his life, Jessie, and yeah, she's not having any of it. But yeah, he's a little creepoid that's always hitting on her, but that's also comedy. The Peyton List plays Emma, and she's sort of the proto Jessie in a sense. Hopefully she's going to be able to guide her in a direction that she'll become her own person. Yeah. So, but with the good guidance of Jessie, especially when the parents aren't around. And again, I don't know if after this pilot episode, if the parents still do stick around as much, because the whole point of this is for Jessie to be watching over these kids when their parents aren't around. So maybe the lesson isn't learned after the first episode. So, but we'll see. I won't see. It's not a show for me. It's not made for me, and that's okay. Not everything has to be made for me. But it's I'm sure there's a lot of people who grew up with this, and it might be time to come. It's been, what, 12, 13 years now? 14 years since it started, but it's about 11 years since it ended. Maybe it's time to revisit it. Maybe you have kids now. You grew up with it, and now you have kids, and you're going to show it to your toddlers. I don't know. No, maybe not your toddlers. I don't think they'd get a kick out of it. The Gila monster might be interesting to them. Oh yeah, and why do they have a Gila monster? Well, because the Indian kid brought it with him, as one does, because he's Indian and comedy. So yeah, it's not, I can't say it's the greatest high concept story ever, but definitely everybody's leaning into their comedy chops and doing their best with what they got, and it's an appealing cast, despite some kind of tropey things, but come on. It's meant to make stars out of every one of these things, every one of these kids, and honestly, they all pretty much went into doing a whole lot more stuff after this, in the Disney realm and beyond. So it's good for them. I say, let's pick tomorrow's episode. There we go. 145. I mean, it's entertaining. It's, you know, it's just, I can't imagine watching 4 seasons of it being a man my age. They don't make shows like this for men my age. Technically, they shouldn't be. I'm sure nobody's intentionally doing that. So anyway, we got another documentary, but it's Marvel related. And it very nearly got cut during that culling that Disney Plus made a number of years ago to save money on taxes or something. They just dumped a bunch of shows. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for getting rid of Willow. I will not forgive you for that, Disney Plus. So, this, though, leans into the Marvel thing, and I think it speaks about the women that are in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This is called Empower. It's a little behind-the-scenes look, I think, at the women. I could be wrong about that, but I think it is. I'm pretty sure it is. Empower is what we're watching next on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that. Bye.